Back in studio with BJ Carey and Greg Buchanan. On a less positive note, we continue our talking about the Stampede, where unfortunately 6 horses died over the course of the competition. That has obviously dominated the news in the bigger centers in Alberta. What has that been like in terms of experiencing, fielding the calls, and experiencing it as a driver who obviously has horses of his own?
Well, I mean, they're accidents. There's probably a better chance of us driving downtown and getting hit by a car than a horse having a heart attack or a horse breaking a leg. Every athlete, whether you're a hockey player, football player, they all have injuries. If we knew that a horse was going to have a heart attack, or if we knew that we were going to break a leg doing something, we probably wouldn't do it. We can't tell that. So when something like that happens, it's an accident, and we take utmost care of these horses. They're family to us. So if we knew that they're going to go out there and break a leg, that horse wouldn't be going, because that's like losing a family member to us. It's terrible. It's not good for the sport, but accidents do happen, and we just got to carry on and keep caring for these animals the way we have in the past, and the way that we're going to do it going forward.
Given some of the outrage from animal rights groups and stuff that are calling for, obviously some are calling for the sport to be disbanded, others are simply calling for different safety measures. Are there any safety measures that you're looking at that could be in place that could have reduced? Obviously the main crash was because of driver error, but are there other safety measures that could reduce, such as maybe changing on the guardrails, things like that?
Hindsight's 2020. Ray Cardo Jr. had an interview with Sportsnet, I believe, and he had a great idea on there, and that's leaving those dogs up that we ran with the first 4 days. They're about 5 feet off the rail, leaving that as a safety net. So if something like that, if something does get tight, you can pull into those dogs and you have that safety net. I like that idea. I mean, the dogs up there, yeah, you're making the track a little longer, but you have that safety net. There is that, if you have something getting tight, you can move over into them. Those dogs are basically plastic pylons. They aren't going to hurt the horses. They aren't going to hurt the wagon. They aren't going to upset a wagon. That's a great idea. I mean, anybody that is calling to ban the sport, you're taking all these horses off the racetrack and you're putting them into a meat plant, or you're taking them out of what they're bred to do. It would be like taking us out of that workforce and putting us in a locked room, basically, is the way I see it. Anybody that thinks that they aren't looked after, come to my barn, come to somebody else's barn and see how they're looked after. These horses are cared for second to none.
And speaking of which, I'm sure you're caring for your horses heading into the last couple weeks of the season. We'll try to end on this, Greg Buchanan. We have a couple of stops left on the CPCA Tour. And of course, you have your top 3 of Todd Baptiste, Dale Mitswing, and Brad McMahon. He's had a really great season. What do you see going forward in the next couple of weeks? What are a couple of stops you're looking forward to? What are a couple of drivers that are?
Well, you got Little Pine, Poundmaker, Frog Lake, Turtleford, and the Lloyd final. So that's the next number of shows here. Little Pine's a longer track, so somewhat similar to what we were racing at the Calgary Stampede. I think one guy that's kind of the outside of that top 3 right now is a great story, and we talked about the earlier, is Ray Mitswing. He's 65 years of age. He wants to come back and he wants to win, and BJ knows him very well. That just because he's 65 doesn't mean that he doesn't want to win another championship. So look for Ray to make a real good run to win championship number 8.
Yeah. And if you guys had to pick one wild horse youngster that might pop up still late in the season, we've seen some good performances, less than 30 seconds here. What's somebody we should watch for the next 2 weeks?
Danny Ringette.
Yep. Yeah, I would say the same thing.
He's going to be tough going forward. DJ King. The top 10 is going to be, it's still a wild card. There's top 10, there's 40 points apart. So it'll be interesting these last 5 shows. It'll be a great second half.
Yeah. And you'll have a chance to watch that second half again heading into the CPCA finals, which are here in Lloydminster in mid-August.